Welcome back to Guns and Gear Network, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. Today we're going to take a look at some improvements and some things you might consider for your Chinese shoe patcher machine. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. So today I'm going to go over some improvements and some kind of things that I've done with my Chinese shoe patcher machine that you guys may want to do. Tons of videos about this. So I've just kind of taken bits and pieces based on my research from different videos and how-tos and a blog post, and I kind of incorporated it into mine, and I wanted to share it with you in one of my videos. So I've got my son out here helping me today. Say hey.
Hi.
So the camera may be shaky a little bit, but he's going to help me with this video a little bit, moving the camera around for me. So some basic things you're going to need to help you using this thing is you're going to need some type of oil, some lightweight type oil. You can buy sewing machine specific oil. This is just some rim oil. So you'll need something like that. Some grease. This is lithium grease. Sometimes in this mechanism, places like that, back here on this cam wheel, something a little heavier duty, like this Camel would probably, this lithium grease would work pretty well for something like that. You're going to need a threader. Some of these machines I saw that did come with it, some of them didn't. This is just made from a piece of wire that I got a loop on the end to be able to grab hold of, and this end here, if you look, has a little eye so you can thread it and then be able to pull the thread back through. So you'll need that. I've got a little brush, soft bristle brush. I use this to keep this dust and stuff off, and dust my area, clean it, what have you. This right here comes in handy to have pretty close by when you're working with this machine. Also, few of the improvements that I've made. This one thing, I'm out in my garage that it's got a moist environment out here. Got a little workshop set up. Me and my son do leather work and things like that. So the environment out here is pretty damp. So I noticed soon after I got this and got it all set up that there was a lot of surface rust. So one of the things that had a lot of surface rust on it was this wheel. So I've since taken the wheel off, cleaned it up, sanded it back, steel wooled it, got it all nice and shiny and clean, and then put denatured alcohol on it, and then I spray painted it with it's like a textured or hammered silver paint. So this will not rust right here. On the back side, I did not paint that. I did not want to get in. That's where the cam mechanism works. So I didn't want to do anything like that. So just keep a good coat of oil or grease back there, but I don't have to worry about this rusting again. You'll also notice this nice big platform that I have here that I built. I showed this in the other video. I have since stained it. Looks very nice, and I like this. Some people are building the smaller ones and they clamp it to a table. I wanted to do this style. This is more just a kind of a whole unit that I can take with me if I need to, if I wanted to. But I don't need to clamp this at all. It's very stable, and so I like it a lot. It depends on your eyesight. You may want to have a little pair of glasses handy. 1.5 to 2 magnification to be able to see things easier, like when you're threading needles and so forth. A simple screwdriver, some little needle nose pliers are handy to have. You'll know that when you start working with this because it has little screws and stuff, might need adjusting. I've got this little pick here that works for picking out string, and if you get a little jam in here, something like this would work well. I recently bought some thread, and if you look in the section below down there, there'll be a link to my Amazon store. So a lot of this stuff that I've bought for this is in there, and I bought a little kit of an assortment of thread, and this right here is the Coates and Clark heavy duty. This is 100% nylon. This is the extra strong. It's like an upholstery string. And this one is, let's see if I've got a size. This is 150 yards. I see some people in these videos and they buy these spools that are like this big around and this tall. You would never use that. And even though it's a heavy duty thread, it can degrade over time. Just UV light in general will degrade it. It'll dry rot. So this right here is plenty for me. And I'm going to buy some different weights, but this right here is pretty heavy duty. It will do most things that I would want it to do. It did come with this nylon thread. This is actually like fishing line almost. It's like a black fishing line type stuff that came with the machine. Scissors to be able to knit. I like this style. This right here is specifically for clipping thread. I like this much better than a regular pair of scissors. These are cheap, all on Amazon, what have you. A little measuring tape here. So I've got this little kit that I've created for this machine. It's got extra parts and pieces. It's got some extra bobbins. I went ahead and wound bobbins, and what you'll find, like when I wound these, different color threads that I have here. I mostly did black and white. I think there's one natural color maybe, but either way, the string will kind of want to come undone off of this because it's not kind of got a memory where it holds on the bobbin well. So I just took some blue painter's tape and taped down the thread so it doesn't go anywhere. So I've got some of those already pre-spooled, and that's handy to have, so you'll have those. But just build you a little kit, a little sewing kit, and have it ready for you to do your projects. So one of the other improvements that I made is, and this is discussed in a few other videos, so this is a walking foot and it causes the leather to move as you're sewing. The problem with it when you buy it new, it will leave teeth marks. And I don't know if that'll pick up in the camera, but you can see these teeth marks along in here. And so what you need to do is I took this off, and it's just 2 screws on the back side here, and I ground it down a little smoother, not all the way flat or anything, just a little smoother. And then there's another trick you can do. Some people use Plasti Dip. So that's this product here. I had some spray. Some people use Plasti Dip, makes some that you actually dip in. This right here is a spray form. I just used a bunch of different coats of it. I put it in a little piece of cardboard so it'd stand up, and I just kept spraying it over a couple days to keep building layers. And so now when I sew, there is no marks at all. So that's nice when you can do that. So earlier I did got this leather, and I went ahead and grooved a stitching groove in it with this stitching groove here, and I just made a groove all the way around, just kind of play with it. I'm going to show you guys because some people ask how it sews and so forth. But I'm working with a company that's going to send me some products, and I'll do another video about that. So part of the problem that I was a little worried about when I bought this thing to begin with was because it's a Chinese company, blah, blah, blah. I was a little worried about even being able to get replacement parts. And so matter of fact, I broke this needle clamp, and I wound up buying one off of Amazon that I made work. It's not perfect, but I did make it work. But he actually has all these replacement parts that you might would need. And so he's going to send me out some stuff, and we'll discuss that in another video. Pretty excited. He's a US-based company. He sells these machines, and I'll go into all that in the video. So let's take a look at exactly how it sews. So again, I've done the stitching groove on this, and we'll see how it goes here. I've never sewn on this. I've only practiced sewn. So this right here is kind of going to show you what it looks like. So what you would do is just kind of start it where you want it to go. Put your walking foot down. And I'm going to see if I can stay in that stitching groove just like I would if I was building a nice project, say a knife sheath, gun holster, something like that. You would want to keep your stitching nice and straight. You wouldn't want it all crooked. So this right here will tell me if I'm able to accomplish that with this. Another thing I don't actually have on today would be that I would think might want is a headlamp. So that would actually probably come in pretty handy to have. I normally wear it out here a lot of times working. So we'll see how this turns out here. I'm a little off already, but nothing too bad. So again, lift your walking foot, and you're going to follow your project. And what I did with this one, I actually did a couple straight lines, and I wanted to do a curved line to show you that. So one thing I want to practice here real quick, once I get to the end, is doing a back stitch. And that's one thing I've got to figure out how to do, is the back stitch. So I think, if I remember correctly, the best way to do this, maybe go back down, because your back stitch is going to lock it. So now I'm pretty much done. What you'll do is you'll go ahead and lift up on your needle, pull your walking foot up, and then see if you can get your needle up. Go ahead and pull down on this, so that way it won't break. So let's see how this turned out. Wow, I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead and get the camera down. I apologize for it being a little shaky, guys. My son's trying to help me here. So I'm going to show you this. If you look, I put that stitch line and I went all along here. I turned, went down this straight, and then I had this nice curve here. And then there is the back stitch right there. I've been impressed with this machine, guys, I have to admit. Just kind of showing you. I hope that light's good on it. But there you go. So like I said, I've been pretty impressed with this, guys. It has done really well considering everything, considering the price point, I guess is my point. So it does really well, and I'm pretty excited about this, to be honest with you. And this is the first time I really did it on camera. I mean, first time I've done it, and I did it on camera for you guys. I just wanted to test it because you want to be able to do nice straight lines on a project. You don't want it to look kind of ratty and whatever. So I just went out here and got some heavy duty leather and went and did a bunch of just oddball stitching, just trying to practice with how to move it throughout an actual project. So you see, if I went up here and then turned and moved it. So just take some leather like this and practice. I will tell you, I did buy some of these. This right here is the leather. And if you look, there's the size, the 110/18. These are actually designed for leather. They have more of a chisel point that penetrates the leather real easy. But again, where I practiced here, just kind of playing with it. And if you look, this is some of the older leather before I fixed the walking foot. And it had these lines in it from the walking foot itself. This was the latest one right after I finished the walking foot. But wow, guys, I'm pretty impressed with that, to be honest with you. If you look how nice and straight all those stitches are, and it went right along that groove line. I thought I was off just a little bit, and I may be just a smidgen off, but nothing terrible. And it went back and done the lock stitch here. So pretty impressed, guys. There's the back side, what it looks like. But yeah, stay tuned. Like I said, I'm going to do this next video as soon as I get with that company and they send out the stuff that I'm going to show you, and I will tell you all about that company. I'm really glad that we have a company that supports this as far as getting parts and stuff, because that's pretty cool. And I would buy some spare parts. I'd go ahead and buy like a parts kit for it. That way you have it on hand. Again, I talked about this in the other video, this being kind of an off-grid prepping kind of survival type setup. And so you'd want some spare parts on hand. You wouldn't have to, if we had, you know, a situation where the grid was down or whatever, you might not be able to order some parts when you need them. So I would keep some spares, especially like needles and other little things that you might need. And me and him discussed that. And so he didn't have a kit together, and I explained to him what I was looking for and why. He actually thought it was a good idea to try maybe putting together a kit. So hopefully we're going to collaborate on a little kit for his website. You can go to and buy everything you need. But anyway, guys, hope that was helpful. If you got any questions, post those below. If you got any experience with this machine or have any information you can share with us about it, please feel free to do so in the comment section below. And don't forget the Amazon affiliate store down there. You'll be able to find some of these things that I have bought for the machine, including this thread and the needle and so forth. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Bring another video shortly. Have a great day.